Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to show you the easiest way to build a portfolio and website using the Nextr theme and WordPress without any plugins. Building a portfolio site shouldn't be complicated, and what if we told you you could create a stunning portfolio without any extra plugins? Today, we're going to show you how to use the Nextr theme and standard WordPress posts to build a beautiful and fast portfolio website. Okay, so we're going to go about this assuming that you've only installed the Nextr theme and the Nextr extension and the Nextr blocks. From this, we probably won't have any posts, nor pages on the site, nor any media. But adding in the media and the post pages should be very easy. So let's get started first by making a new page, and we're going to set that up as our home page. So let's click on Add Page, and if you haven't ever used WordPress before, this area is called the WordPress block editor or the Gutenberg block editor. This is where you will create all your posts and pages, and the editor for posts and pages will be a bit different. This will say post rather than page, and over here as well, but generally the functionality is the same, okay? And later on, we're going to take a look at the Nextr theme builder, and it's going to look the same, right? Because that's the basis of stock WordPress, but it'll have its differences and it'll have its general similarities. So let's go ahead and take a tour of the controls here from right to left, just to familiarize ourselves. These three dots over here are options. These are like some preferences. You can take a look at these if you want on your own. We have the publish and save button, the Nextr customizer button. These are just presets that you can create and save. Okay, and then we have our settings button over here, and these are our options for the page, or you can set the featured image, and some other options, and our block area over here, block settings, and this will come in handy later on. We have our view button, and we can change our view from desktop, tablet, and our mobile, and we can make our adjustments accordingly. And over here we have the paste button, document overview, and you'll see how we use this later on. Undo, redo, and then the block inserter. Okay, real quick, let's go ahead and entitle this homepage, and we can either type or click on the plus icon here and add blocks from here. And blocks are basically the elements that build up a WordPress site, or make up a WordPress site. Just go ahead and type here. Okay, and you can see it automatically turns into a paragraph, right? Block starts to have, begins to be populated, and you can see there's this black icon here, paragraph icon, right? Page break icon, paragraph, and then we can change the color and the background color of this as well. We can change the size of the typography, and that's all good. But when the blocks have these black icons, it means they're stock WordPress ones. So you can see here in our block inserter that we have Nextr blocks over here on the top, and they have this purplish blue color to them. And if we scroll down far enough, you'll see the default WordPress ones. There you go, paragraph. I drag and drop this, it's going to end up being this. But alternatively, if we searched for paragraph, and then this one is an extra one, as you can see, if we clicked on Design and Scratch, you can see that we have so much more options and control of how our paragraph looks like, right? We can change the color, typography, we can even add animations and other settings on here. We can adjust spacing, so on and so forth, right? So that's the beauty of having a third-party theme and or block library, is that you get so much more control of your website. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on publish real quick. And then with that done, we're going to go over to settings page, and then beside the page title, we can set this as our home page. Okay, set as home page. And when we go over, let's go ahead and save. Let's go over and enter our website, that this is what becomes our home page. Okay, and now let's go ahead and enter the theme builder real quick before we actually talk about the posts. And let's talk about our theme builder. So Nextr extension, theme builder, and this is what gives us control of how to change up our site. And you'll see the utility of this later when we talk about customizing how the posts look like and customizing how the pages look like and the archive for that. Okay, but before we continue any further, let's go ahead and set up our homepage template, right? Select template, singular, name of template. Page 1, next, and we'll display it on the front page. Click on create. Okay. And you can see here that we have our block. Let's go ahead and add a block quote over here, design from scratch. Okay, let's click on publish, and let's click on, let's go ahead and view the site, okay? And you can see that it changed, all right? So what's happening over here? Let's go back to our dashboard. Let's go down to Nextra extension and back to theme builder. And you can see we have our portfolio page 1. Let's disable this, okay, and let's reload it. And we get the one we made earlier. Okay, so what gives? This is assigned, okay, in our pages, okay, as our front page. And whenever we have our display conditions for a singular here to include on the front page, okay, and it's enabled, this will draw over whatever we have assigned in our pages. Okay, so with that enabled, let's reload this. Okay, and there is our new home page. So why is this useful? Can't I just make another home page and then assign it as that? Yes, you absolutely could. But if you did it this way, well, you could easily switch between them if you wanted to. If you wanted to go between certain home pages, like if you had a special one, or if you wanted to put a 404 or like a coming soon banner, you could go ahead and do that real quick from this, okay? But later on, we'll see how useful this theme builder is in customizing our site. So with our homepage here, let's keep this on here and we'll make it very beautiful later on. So first, let's go back to our dashboard, starting from, again, blank. We have another video on the differences between posts and pages, but we're going to use posts in this example video for a portfolio so that it's easier to manage, right? So we have our pages over here, and if we were to make a different homepage, right, we'll have to assign it manually, individually. We'd have to manually, right? We'd have to manually create a layout for each individual portfolio item. Whereas if we had posts, right, and we have some examples here, like let's view this, you will see that it comes with its own default layout. So as you can see here, we have our featured image. It's a bit blurred, but we have our post title, our meta over here. This is our content. There's some tags. There's some comments. There's a comments area over here. We can go to previous post, and you will see that this one doesn't have a featured image, but it does display the title, the meta, and the body, and then so on and so forth. And if we go back to this one, you'll see this one has a featured image and a bunch of other things as well, okay? So let's take a look at what one of these looks like. All right, let's click on edit, and you'll see that when we edit our post, we don't actually have, it doesn't actually look like what it looks like on our front page, right, on the front end, right? But you can see that our featured image is over here, and you can see that our text is over here. Well, our body, you can put images and whatever you want over here. But you can see we have categories over here and a bunch of other tags, right? So this makes it so easy, if we were going to use this as our basis for our portfolio, to just add a featured image over here and then add the text over here, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's click on Add Post to create a new post. And again, you will see that we end up in the WordPress block editor, or what they call the Gutenberg block editor. And you can see here that instead of page, it says post, right? So we're going to use our portfolio item names as our post title. So let's say interior design projects. we can set up our featured image over here, right? And we're going to go down here. Let's look for an interior area. There we go. Let's click on this. All right, that's a bit too small. About this. Okay, that's decently sized. And let's make a new category, and we'll call it Portfolio. Okay, hit enter. And we now have a new category called Portfolio. In case you have other items on your site that's a post, you just don't want to get them mixed up. You can use custom post types with another plugin, but in this video, we're going to keep it simple, right? We're focusing on only if we had portfolio items, and we're going to add tag like I probably didn't spell that right, but you know what? Let's forego the tags for this moment. Let's go ahead and put portfolio, right? And these can be anything you want, right? And we also have a bunch of other ones over here, and you can select these if you wanted to. All right. Now, let's go ahead and populate our page. Well, our post, excuse me. So if we wanted to add just random stuff over here, we can go ahead and do that. And we can put, what can we put over here? Time from scratch, right? We can put in images, right? You can upload an image. We can either upload files from our computer, select files, or drag and drop them over here. Or we can select other options over here, right? Like this. I think it's a Samoyed. Let's center that up. Right? And we have other videos on how to use these blocks and so on and so forth. Right now, we're just going to show you a general framework of how to make a skeleton for your portfolio site. So if you wanted an in-depth look into how to make this look very beautiful, you could go ahead and do that. But this video is an idea for you to base your portfolio website out of or from. So we've published that. Let's click on a view post. Okay, and there you go. Here is our featured image, right? Okay, interior design. Right, I'm actually not sure if that's an oven or I think that's an oven. It kind of looks like a dryer. We have our title over here, right? We have our metadata over here, and we have our content, right? And then we have this and this and this. Okay, let's go ahead and make a few more off camera. And let's talk about how to customize this, right? So what if we wanted our project title to be in the very middle and on the top? What if we didn't want to have this in our portfolio? What if we didn't want to have our comments area, our author, and our tags over here, all right? So let's go ahead and go back to our posts over here, and I'll make a few off camera. All right, so we have a bunch over here, and if we clicked on view, right, you're going to see we have our featured image over here, our title, and our content. And if we went over here, we have a bunch of other ones, okay? And these are all under the portfolio tag. So if I clicked on portfolio here, category portfolio, you can see this is how our archive for portfolio will look like, right? What if we didn't want to have our portfolio to look like this? What if we wanted it to be in a grid of how many ever items there are? Okay, so first, let's go ahead and view a single project over here, item over here. And let's go ahead and enter the Nextr theme builder. Okay, let's add a new template for singular. We're going to call this portfolio post template, and we're going to include it on posts category, and we're going to put this only on portfolio. Okay, and we're going to put this as, okay, let's click on create. And here we are, okay. And let's go ahead and click on search for post, and you can see that we now have our options over here that we can drag and drop. So these are dynamic options. So again, as I've mentioned earlier, we can put our post title over here, and you can see it'll show whatever title there is, right? And we can put our post meta info over here, our post image next, our post content, right? Post author. What else do we have here? Post image, content, meta info. We can put the post comments area over here. Let's click on publish, right? And let's reload this. Now you can see it's changed very drastically. Our the top over here has our title and our meta. There is our title, or our author, and our comment section. How about, here we go. From here, we have to put in full content. Okay, just to make things clear, we have to select this. And let's go over here. You can see document overview, and we can select each one of these just in case it's not clear as to what you're clicking. Let's reload this, and we should be getting our post content back over here. Okay, so how else can we customize this further? What if this is a portfolio site, right? We don't really want to have comments on here. We don't really want to have our author because, well, depending. Well, if this is your personal portfolio site, you shouldn't really need an author area. So let's go ahead and just delete these. And in the same way that the page in our Nextr theme builder draws over the default WordPress one, this draws over every single post that is marked as portfolio, okay? So if we were to open up a different blog post, let's say, well, a different one to begin with, it won't have the same layout, right? So let's go ahead with this, and let's go ahead and change the text over here. This, we can go ahead and delete this even. For the image, let's center that. Image size, let's constrain it to medium, and our maximum width will be 590. For this, it's already on the center. Let's click on save. Let's reload this. And you can see that our portfolio post has now changed, right? And then for each one of these, we might want to put a button that goes back to the archive. But let's go ahead and save this and then do that in a short bit. Okay, so now we have each one of our posts that looks like this. How do we make now an archive for all of our portfolio items, right? Like an album. So let's go ahead and enter the theme builder. Click on add new template. Click on this. Let's create archives. We'll call this, okay. Click on next, and we're going to include this on categories archives, and we're going to select only for portfolio. Okay, categories portfolio. Click on create. All right, and here we go. So with this, let's go ahead and put post listing, right? And we're going to put over here, and you can see it's displaying everything. We can put here post title, right? And we're going to put this archive page. There we go, archive title. Let's make this heading 4, right? We'll center that. And now how about this, right? We have a few different styles to choose from, right? And we can use a block template for this if you want to customize it further, and we have some other ones that are locked to pro. But I think I want to go with these, right? And I kind of want to remove that. We'll do that in a bit. And let's make it posts, okay? We can list it as archive page, probably do it like this. And the layout, we can change it to masonry, right? So it fits in better. Metro might also work. You know what? We'll keep it at that. And we can show the date, we can show the author. Okay, and it's starting to look like a portfolio site. Now, for the query, we can go ahead and display a maximum number of posts. You can order it by date, or we can just make it random. Okay, probably put, it'll only work on the front end, so let's keep it on modified for now, just so you can see the changes if there are any. We can change the layout for this, but it's these are locked to the pro version. Post title, we can change that. typography over here. But right now, let's click on Publish, right? And let's view the template. And this is what our portfolio should look like, okay? So we should only be able to show we could display only certain items over here if you wanted to, but let's go ahead and enter our category portfolio, and you can see that it saves everything in one go. And you can see that the other blog items here, post and typography test, they're not on there because they don't have the tag portfolio. Okay, so now what we want to do is add a home button, right? So let's put a button over here, or if you wanted to, you can put on archive. Breadcrumbs. Let's save that and reload this, and then we can return home by clicking on this. But that doesn't look too clean, to be honest. So let's go ahead and delete this and just make a simple button. Put it over here, home. Or let's go ahead and just like copy paste this, shall we? Okay, save that. And again, we can change the style and whatever, right? Typography, change the color, I guess, to something a bit neater. There you go. And let's save that. And let's reload our portfolio category over here. And there you go. We can click on home and it's going to return us back home. Now, well, we can click on these and it's going to take us to our portfolio items one by one. Okay, so I want to put a button on each one of our portfolio post items. That's going to say, let's go ahead and add a button over here. And then let's put this here, category portfolio, and let's change the style back to, let's make it yellow this time, yellow, and we'll make our text color to dark blue. Save that. Let's click on one of these posts, well, one of our archive items, and you can see, well, post items, and you can see that we can go back to our portfolio and it's going to take us back to our portfolio area. Okay, excellent. Now, last but not least, let's build our front page. Okay, so here we just want something really simple, and let's go ahead and delete this, and let's add a container here, Flexbox with that, and let's go to style and background. Under background, let's click on image. We'll upload an image from our media library, and let's look for a nice long and wide image. Okay, probably this. Are any of these wide enough? Okay, or probably this. Okay, that's great. Okay, let's have that on there. Let's change the width to full, and then for height, we want to have a minimum height. Okay, our fit at the screen, if we wanted to, yeah, we can do that. For flex property, let's align everything in the middle. And for layout, well, for style, for background, we can center this. Let's make it scroll. Let's not repeat it. And that should be great. Now we can add a title over here. So heading, drag and drop it over there. And we'll put this. Let's change the heading to something else, and let's align it to the middle. For style, color, let's change this to white, and let's change the Or, well, actually, let's add a background to this background color. Let's change that to something darker. Something a bit more eye-catching. Okay, that should be about right. And then at the bottom over here, let's go ahead and add in a button. Okay, at the bottom over here, and we're gonna center that, and let's call it okay, and we're gonna paste here category portfolio. Let's change the style. Well, let's change the color to red. Let's make the text color black. Put a border on this. Let's put a border radius of 25 pixels around each side. Okay, we can add an icon over here on the right side. Arrow to enter. You can change the spacing. For typography, let's go ahead and make this big. Okay, 62. Let's click on save. And now let's go home. And you can see we now have our basic portfolio website. Don't mind this icon over here. This is just something that's default. Generally, you'll have this. And we have another video on making beautiful home pages. So if you can imagine, this is our portfolio. Okay. Our portfolio site. So when you log on, okay, welcome to Website Assets Portfolio. Let's click on View Portfolio. And it's going to take us to the portfolio category area. And it's going to showcase like, wow, okay, Website Assets has interior design projects, civic action projects, food technology projects, animal welfare projects. I'm interested in this. Let's go ahead and click on this. And we're going to end up in our civic action projects. And there's so much cool information about it. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we can go back to portfolio. And then we can see everything on our site. So maybe we want to check out this person's interior design projects. Wow, there's so much cool information here. Let's go back. And over here, okay, let's check out the Giant Burger food technology. Like, okay, wow, there's like so much cool information from this site, right? And this is just a basic way for you to showcase your own projects and your own accomplishments without needing external plugins and very complicated themes, right? Sometimes you might have a theme that's just going to be a blog and it's kind of hard to lay it out, but sometimes you want just that little bit more control of how your portfolio and how your website looks like, and that's something that Nextr provides perfectly, right? So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to our channel, as it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Show this kind of video to other nerds like us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you want to know where to get the blocks that we used in this video to make forms real simple, real easy, check out the link in the description. It'll take you to the website of Nextr where you can get the Nextr blocks yourself. Now, if you check out the pricing, they have 3 different levels: starter, professional, and studio. We recommend getting the studio one because it's a one-time payment. It's lifetime. You get all the blocks. So you don't have to worry about not having the right blocks to get what you need done. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out one of our other videos, or go ahead and check out our channel and subscribe to see more content like this.